Hi, my name is Will, and let me ask you this question. Do you want to be rich someday? Of course you do. Who doesn't? But if you work in sales, let me tell you this, you're in a particularly great position to grow your wealth if you play your cards right, that is, and more on this in a few minutes' time. Because in this video, I'm going to reveal the 3 best habits of rich people, habits that you can learn for yourself and habits that are going to put you well on your way to true financial freedom. So let's jump right into it. Now, one of the hardest pills to swallow about success is that, well, getting rich and becoming successful doesn't happen quickly. Striking it rich on the newest cryptocurrency, winning the lottery, these cases, the chances of these happening for you are extremely rare, right? And the majority of the wealthy people that I know and the majority of the wealthy people in the Western world, well, they built their fortunes over time. Lots and lots of time. So what does that tell us? Well, it tells us the difference between those who become rich and those people who don't is that rich people know how to spend their time. Because, well, in reality, time is the only thing that we have any control over. Now, we like to think that we're in control of what we do each day. And think about it. Do you feel like you're in control day to day, minute to minute? Did you choose to watch this video? Do you feel like you're in the driver's seat? Well, most of us aren't in control most of the time. But in fact, we're actually slaves to one thing that rules us all, and that is our habits. Our habits control how we spend our days. They dictate our feelings, our motivations, our productivity. Do we work towards building a bigger, brighter future? Or do we sit around and put off tasks and give into that warm call of the couch and 27 episodes of the latest Netflix show instead? It's all down to our habits. Now, over time, these daily accomplishments, which are controlled by our habits, build on each other to determine our future. And Indy 500 and Formula One legend Derek Daly said it best to me when he shared this on the Salesman podcast.
You will not decide your future. You'll decide your habits. And your habits will then, in turn, decide your future. You let that float and ask them, are your habits aligned with your own personal goals or stretch goals? And then are your habits aligned with the goals of this company here? And they can't hide. It's right out there in the open, and they have complete control of what they do and the success that might come their way.
But we've got a problem here. We tend to forget what we've done in the past very quickly. And so we end up not tying that past effort with the present, what we're achieving right now today. I want you to think of it like this. This graph is a perfect illustration of what I'm talking about. The memory of doing the task that led to whatever it is that came from the task, whether that be a prospect here that we reached out to via cold call, cold email, leading to a deal getting done at this side. Well, we forget about all the effort that we put in that led to the results that we get. There's a disconnect between these two sides of the graph here, and this is a problem. And this is why we don't always end up with a positive feedback loop on all the good things that we do, leading to more good things. Very often, we do a few good things, and then we forget what we've done, and then we complain when we don't get more of what we want. So the solution to this problem is to identify the right habits that will make us rich and start implementing them now so that you can reap all of these rewards, these compounding, these scaling rewards later on, whether that be a week, a month, or a year from now. And that's exactly what we're going to do today in the rest of this video. So, all right. Enough background. Let me get into the real meat and potatoes of this. Let's talk about the 3 best habits that rich people have that you need to copy so that you can start emulating this idea of what you've done in the past is going to lead to a bigger, brighter future for you today. Habit number 1 is very simple. You've got to track your progress. Now, people don't stumble into becoming a success. They aim for it. So in order for you to achieve that same kind of success, you have to set goals. So understand exactly what you want to achieve. Is it to climb the corporate ladder? Is it to accumulate enough wealth to retire early? Or do you want to get some extra cash in the bank so you can send your kids to college without debt? Whatever it is. Try to make smart goals. And I know this is cliche, but you've got to do it. You've got to implement this. Specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, time-based goals. It's cliche because it works, right? The more exact you can make your goals, the easier it's going to be for you to work your way towards them. Because the next step is then to determine the milestones on your journey. You need to understand what the steps are that you need to take to achieve your goal. And then you can break it down even further. You need to understand what you need to accomplish to achieve each of those steps. Break it down and break it down and break it down until it becomes super, super simple. So, if, for example, your goal is to make $1 million in commissions in your sales job this year, well, you can break that goal down into quarterly, monthly, weekly, and even daily targets. How many deals do you need to get done each quarter to stay on track? How many cold emails and calls do you need to make each day to hit that monthly or quarterly goal? When you break down your larger goals into these smaller daily tasks, you're going to be able to tell in an instant if you are running behind or if you're ahead of the game. So set those larger goals, break them down into milestones, and then even smaller tasks, and then track your progress towards completing each of them every single day. And with that, let's jump into habit number 2. And habit number 2 is that you've got to pay your future self first. For this one, it helps to think of yourself as two distinct people. There's present you. That's the you that's watching this video right here, right now. Whether you're watching this on the treadmill, in the bath, or on your commute to work, that's you. That's the present you. Then there's also the future you as well. That's you in a day, a month, a year, a decade from now. Now, the best way to leverage this rule is you want to take a fixed percentage of your monthly income right now and invest it towards your future self. And if you work in sales, I don't care if this was a great month for you. I don't care if this is a terrible month for you. What matters here is that you're paying forward your hard-earned cash so that your future self's life is going to be just a little bit easier. Now, let me be clear here. I'm not talking about buying your future self a car or taking a vacation next week, because that's really investing in present you. Once you spend that cash, once you buy that car, once you go on that holiday, it's dead money. It's done. It's gone. But when you actually invest into your future self, that is living money. That's money that's going to pay out dividends. That's money that's going to earn a return. That's money that's going to get your future self closer and closer and closer until they reach it, this idea and this level of financial freedom. So a few examples of what you can do to pay your future self include investing in the stock market. If you're in the US, you can max out your 401k contributions. You can save for a new house and try and pay it off in cash rather than having a mortgage. You could take a sales skills workshop, which leads us nicely on to habit number 3, and that is the habit of continuous self-improvement. And I don't say continuous self-improvement flippantly here. I mean aggressive, relentless self-improvement, because nobody, and literally nobody, starts from square one with all the skills they need to make millions, to become rich. It doesn't happen. Instead, you've got to consistently expand your skill set. You've got to improve the skills that you already have right now, today. And tomorrow, you've got to become better than you ever thought that you could be. Now, I teased this a little bit earlier on in the video, but us salespeople are particularly lucky here because the improvements that we need to make big bucks, to become rich, to become genuinely wealthy, are way easier than in other parts of businesses or other industries. Do you want to climb the corporate ladder? Well, buckle up for decades of learning and corporate sabotage and backstabbing before you make your millions. Do you want to start a business? Well, settle in for year after year of pain, financial insecurity. Oh yeah, and a real risk of complete failure, a risk of going to zero. So many small business owners end up with absolutely nothing after 5 to 7 years of turmoil. So within B2B sales, all you've got to be able to do is 4 simple things. Understand your market, right? Number 1. Number 2, get in front of buyers. Number 3, explain the value that you offer to the market. And number 4, you've got to cultivate the right mindset. The mindset of the individual that can implement the other 3 steps. You've got to understand your market. You've got to be able to get in front of buyers. You've got to be able to explain the value. And then you've got to become the person who can implement the other 3 steps. That is it. That's all you need to earn hundreds of thousands, multiple 6 figures, millions of dollars in B2B sales. 4 simple steps. And if you'd like to learn more about these 4 steps, we actually cover that in another video that's coming up in the next few days. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. I can't be any more straight and down the line about this. Working in B2B sales right now as I record this video is the quickest, less financially risky way to become rich, become wealthy. And if you can tap into the low input, high output nature of our industry by improving your sales skills every single day, it's by far easiest. I'm not even being flippant as I say this. I know salespeople who are in our Sell Made Simple Academy training program in the community who are making $1 million a year working in their sales role, working from home, from their kitchen counter. There's no other careers that you can get into that offer that kind of upside with just a little bit of sales training and a little bit of work up front. So there we go. Getting rich isn't a fantasy. It certainly isn't easy, but by cultivating the right habits, so tracking your progress, paying your future self first, and then relentlessly and continuously improving your skills, especially sales skills, as we talk about this on the sales channel, you're building the system of habits that the richest people on the planet have used to grow their own fortune. And best of all, once these habits take hold, your success is no longer a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, why not click the video that's on the screen right now and continue making selling simple.